RV Unplugged is brought to you by the National RV Training Academy, the largest RV technical career college, Alliance RV, RV Mattress by Brooklyn Bedding, Grand Design Recreational Vehicles, and the Jayco family of companies.
We're kind of mellow. If we go too high, it's gonna look weird. How's everyone doing? My name is Aaron. This is my wife, Chris. We're from Iron Travels and Healthy RV Living. We're on RV Unplugged, and we're here to win.
We're gonna win this thing.
Well, it is October 1st. It's 8:30 in the morning, and this signifies the beginning of RV Unplugged. We have no idea what we're up for, or what we're up to, or what we're doing, or who we're up against. All we know is we're going to Athens, Texas for $10,000.
$10,000.
So we have two channels. Iron Travels is all about the RV lifestyle, RV travel, as well as boondocking. And then we have a second channel called Healthy RV Living with Coach Chris over here, and that's about food, fitness, as well as RV life.
When we first hit the road, we did not actually intend to be big YouTubers. We started a business and we were intending for that business to be our main source of income. We ended up getting into the YouTube and it ended up just working for us and we ended up liking it, so we stuck with it.
We both had our separate careers. We were at work all day long. We had long commutes. We're from the Minneapolis area, and Chris had to commute about 2+ hours every single day. I was working 8 to 12 hours a day, and we were just not fulfilled with our lives and what we were doing at the time. So we kind of set out on a very long strategic plan to do something different, and we didn't know what that was going to be. It was kind of a 5-year plan of downsizing, getting out of debt, and trying to figure out what we wanted to do with life.
We met in 2006. We started dating then, and we dated for 5 years. We got married, and we're about to celebrate our 10-year anniversary. So along that time, we were both very career-oriented and climbing the corporate ladder. We had a really big house with 2 acres of land, and everything was great. But as we continued to rise and be more successful, we just were being more and more stressed out with work, commute, housework. We were exhausted, and then we kind of just looked at each other and we said, what are we doing all this for? And then simultaneously, we had a lot of friends and family that were at young ages where people were passing away like in their 40s, 50s, and that gave us even more of an itch to do something different and find a way to spend our life together so that we could actually spend time together while we're in our physical prime.
Chris always had the travel bug. She loved it. She went to a semester of college over the pond in England, and I think she's just always loved that lifestyle. I, on the other hand, was more into the stuff and the things. I would rather save up our money and buy a big screen television or a new lawnmower or something that I could physically hold on to. So when I was young, I don't know where that exactly came from, but that's kind of was my mentality. And Chris finally kind of flipped me a little bit on one trip that we made out west to California. We started out in the ocean. We then, in the same day, went to Joshua Tree. We rented a convertible and drove this convertible Mustang through the Joshua Trees in the national park. And then we went up the mountain on the tram that's really close by, Mount Jacinto. We were on top of this 8,000-foot mountain, all in the same day, the desert, the ocean, and the mountains. And it really did flip a big switch for me. And from that point on, I really wanted to move out west.
So we knew we wanted to do something bigger and we couldn't agree on what. So we sold the house and we got into an apartment in Minneapolis, and it was, we went from like 2,000 square feet to like 900 square feet.
We went from almost 3,000 square feet.
Almost 3,000 square feet to 900 square feet. And then we apartment hopped every year. We kind of turned into gypsies. Every year we would move and we would downsize. So we went from the 3,000 to the 900 to the 700 to the 500.
And we had it down pat. We could move out of our current apartment into the new one in like an afternoon.
Yeah.
With a group of friends. It was just like boom, boom, and we're done.
So as we were becoming more and more of minimalists and trying to figure out what we want to do, we just never agreed. But we were at this time saving our money and we were completely debt free. We didn't know what we're doing. And then finally one day on YouTube, Aaron was playing Expedition Happiness.
This documentary changed our lives.
And Aaron looked at me and he said, "Would you do that?" And I said, "Yes." And it was like fireworks. It was the very first thing that we both wanted to do and got passionate about.
This was around 2017 when van life was really getting big. And immediately both of us just were attracted to the smaller RV. We did not want something big. We didn't have a truck. We were living in, the Minneapolis metropolitan area, and the van just made perfect sense to both of us.
We were researching, we were planning.
We just happened to sign a 18-month extension lease on our last apartment right before we figured this whole thing out. And you'd think that would have devastated us, but I think it actually made us excited because we had this secret for 18 months and we had this goal and we had this mission.
We lived the first years of RVing full-time in a Class B Airstream Interstate. So we were in the van full-time. We had left our corporate careers and we were not only living together in this van, but starting a new business in this van. So we got very close and we had to go through some learning curves on who was the boss in that relationship. We still don't know. Of course, when we did hit the road, we had like zero paying clients, I should say. And it was really, really hard to go from 5 years of saving and watch your cash grow to then hitting the road. We had a lot of money. We bought our Airstream with cash, still debt free to this day. And we had 3 to 5 years to grow this business and make it happen.
We really wanted to make it work. This was not like a willy-nilly decision by us. We knew this was life-changing.
Yeah, we didn't want it to be just a 6-month experiment that went bad and then we'd go home with our tail between our legs, and we wanted it to be indefinite for as long as we wanted this to last. So the very first year we were quite frugal again because for the first time we were watching our savings go the opposite way, and that was like really hard.
It took about 2 months of seeing our bank account take these big hits for us, I think, to both really kick this into high gear and try to get this business off the ground.
Year number 1, we basically just flatlined. And then year number 2, we made a little bit of money. And then year number 3, we doubled it. And everything's going better than what we outlined.
A lot of people wait to get into this lifestyle until they're retired. It's been absolutely amazing the past 4 years traveling in an RV.
Yeah.
With my sweetheart.
Yeah.
2.5 of those years we spent inside of our 22-foot Sprinter van. That's 2 people working full-time, living in it full-time. After that amount of time, we definitely wanted to upsize a little bit. So we got a tent.
So here's how that happened. We knew that we wanted to continue to RV. We knew we wanted something bigger. And Aaron started showing me 3D virtual tours of fifth wheels.
Big
and
kitchens.
Showing me kitchens, dangling this carrot.
Island countertop.
To sell the van. So I said, yeah, let's sell the van. We'll get a fifth wheel. And then, of course, the van sold.
Winds up in a tent
in a week. We had nothing to move into. So we bought a truck and we bought a rooftop tent. And we did a little overlanding stint. We spent 5 months living in Colorado.
Oh my God. We almost lost the tent. Oh. We almost lost the tent.
We gotta wait it out.
That's probably one of our greatest memories is spending a good chunk of time in Colorado in this rooftop tent, in the elevation, in the heat, in the cold, and I mean literally living out of a tent on top of our truck. It's something that we'll always remember.
It's the most humbling thing. And I will say, becoming an RVer changes you because you start to really value the basics in life. Things like electricity, plumbing, grocery stores, somewhere to sleep. All of those things really get tested as an RVer. And then when you live in a tent, it's magnified even more. I felt like every day was just survival. You don't have hard walls. Every day in Colorado, it rains at 2 p.m. We'd have to break down our tent. We literally didn't get any work done for 5 months because we were just like trying to find water and trying to find a shower at a laundromat.
But we hiked up some epic mountains, like on top of Mount Elbert. I think that's one of my great memories. 14,000 plus feet elevation, just the view from on top of a mountain, the air's thin, and it's just amazing to be able to accomplish those things.
Yeah, and I honestly wasn't even excited to move into the tent. It was something that I knew Aaron really wanted to do.
It sounded like a good idea.
And my biggest drawback was, well, we're either gonna be in the tent sleeping or we're gonna be like standing under a pine tree, like doing nothing.
So we ended up living in this tent for about 5 months because we were waiting for our travel trailer to be built. And that's what we're in right now, is a 26-foot travel trailer. And it's been really great to have the extra space.
And when you get into a 22-foot travel trailer after living in a van and a tent, it feels like a mansion.
So YouTube was going to be our ticket to get our business off the ground and get some exposure out there. So of course, like a good husband, I threw my beautiful wife in front of the camera and she started cooking in our little tiny van. We wanted to show the world out there that you can eat healthy and cook and live in an RV, even a tiny little one that's 22 feet, and you can do it.
And I've always wanted to have my own Food Network TV show, so this was as close as I was ever going to get to it. And all of the meals were cooked on a 10-inch skillet. Very simple. They're still posted today. You can watch them. We have about 50 episodes. We started to really grow our client base. People were watching our show. As we evolved into more RV travel shows, people really got to know our personalities.
We sprinkled a little bit of the RV lifestyle in there. Our first 6 months was a big trip from Minneapolis down to Texas, down to the Florida Keys, all the way up the coast through the Outer Banks,
up to Maine.
All the way up to Maine, hitting the big cities like Boston and New York City, sleeping in the streets of like Manhattan. And it was just unbelievable. So the RV content kind of took off quite a bit more than the healthy cooking and living. But that's why we wanted to separate it and get that healthy RV living back up so that Chris can continue to share and get that content out there.
Yeah, and I think that's been the most gratifying thing about this whole experience is not only are we living a life that we love and we get to spend together, but for the first time, we have intrinsic reward of helping other people on the road. Because in our corporate lives, I was in advertising, Aaron was in the auto parts industry, and there was very little intrinsic reward. And now we're actually helping people change their lives, live longer, feel better, be happier, and it's really powerful to have that type of an impact on people's lives.
Yeah, your health is
all you got. The coaching business, it is called Irene Iron Fitness, and Irene is my middle name, Christine Irene.
Who's Irene is the big joke.
Irene is my grandmother's name and my great-grandmother's name. So when we started this fitness company, it was kind of to inspire women to weight train because there's still a lot of stigma that women shouldn't, or they'll get bulky, or they should do cardio, when really men and women over the age of 20 should really be focusing on resistance training because that's when you start to lose lean muscle mass. And as you age, muscle mass is the most important thing for fighting off cancer, having longevity in life, quality of life, independence when you're in your 80s, being able to do your own laundry and carry your own groceries, things like that. Most of my clients are in their 50s and 60s, but there are a lot in their 30s, 40s, and 70s as well. And then I'd say half of them are in the RV lifestyle, and the other half are not, and they just are inspired by the lifestyle that we live. So I really focus with people on routine building, because routine building is the hardest thing for people, whether you live in an RV or not. Staying consistent with your workouts and with your diet, and also trying to get people to just add in healthy whole foods. I am not a believer in fad diets or restrictions of any sort. I will never try to sell you a pill or a shake or anything like that. It's all about just real food. And that's my ultimate goal, is to just give you the tools to know what to eat and why you're eating it, and to feel how much better it makes you feel every day.
I hope you guys enjoyed learning a little bit about me and Chris. RV Unplugged is gonna be just an epic experience. I hope you come back and check out the first season.
And root for us along
Help
the way.
support us. Put Irene Iron down in the comments below. Come check us out, and we'll catch you on the next episode.